As Buddha once said, you will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger. Think about that for a moment. Every time you let anger take control, you're the one who suffers the most. But what if I told you there's a way to break free from anger's grip, for good? In today's video, I'm going to share 7 powerful Buddhist teachings that can help you release anger once and for all. Imagine living with a peace so deep that anger no longer controls you. Ready to unlock the secret? Let's get started. 1. The root of anger: misunderstanding reality. Buddhism teaches us that the root of anger is ignorance, misunderstanding the true nature of reality. Think about it. We get angry when the world doesn't meet our expectations. We expect people to behave a certain way, or situations to go smoothly, and when reality falls short, frustration boils over. The Buddha said, all wrongdoing arises because of mind. If mind is transformed, can wrongdoing remain? This wisdom teaches us to shift our perspective. Accept that life is full of surprises, struggles, and constant change. When we embrace this truth, we stop clinging to false expectations. Suddenly, anger loses its power over us. Right now, think about the last time you got angry. Was it because something didn't go your way? Share it in the comments, and let's explore together how to see it from a new perspective. 2. Your secret weapon: self-reflection. The mind is everything. What you think, you become, said the Buddha. Self-reflection is one of the most powerful tools to understand why we get angry. Ever wondered why the same small things keep making you mad? By reflecting on our thoughts and emotions, we begin to recognize patterns and triggers. Take a few minutes each day to pause, reflect on your reactions, and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Understanding the source of our anger is the first step in diffusing it. I remember a time when a simple comment would ruin my entire day. But after starting a self-reflection practice, I realized it wasn't the words that made me angry. It was my insecurity behind them. This awareness changed everything for me. 3. Mindfulness, your emotional compass. Mindfulness is one of the most important parts of Buddhist practice. Think of it as your emotional compass, guiding you through difficult feelings like anger. Imagine this: your anger is like a wave in the ocean. It rises higher and higher, but instead of being swept away or overwhelmed by it, you simply watch it. You don't react to it. This is the power of mindfulness. It helps you create space between your emotions and your reactions. So, what exactly is mindfulness? It's paying attention to what's happening in the present moment without judging it. The next time you feel anger creeping in, try this simple practice. Pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Feel the air as it enters your body. Acknowledge the anger without letting it control you, and then imagine the feeling passing by, just like a cloud floating in the sky. You don't have to hold on to it. As Buddha wisely said, you will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger. That means the real harm of anger comes from how it affects you, not from the anger itself. Mindfulness helps you avoid that harm by giving you the tools to manage your emotions instead of letting them rule over you. It allows you to stop punishing yourself and find calm instead. Let's practice this together right now. Take 3 slow, deep breaths with me. Feel your body relax with each inhale and exhale. Notice how it feels to let go, even if just for a moment. 4. Embrace the power of silence. Silence can be one of the most powerful tools for inner peace, and in Buddhism, it's more than just the absence of noise. Silence allows us to connect deeply with ourselves and with the present moment. It's in moments of silence that we can hear our true thoughts, feel our emotions more clearly, and find the space we need to understand and manage our feelings, especially anger. In the midst of our busy, noisy lives, It might feel strange to embrace silence. We're used to constant chatter, social media, emails, and the never-ending stream of distractions. But silence is like a breath of fresh air for the mind. It helps calm the racing thoughts that often fuel our anger and stress. Think of it as a pause button for your emotions, giving you time to think before reacting. When you take the time to be still and silent, you give your mind the chance to settle down. It's like watching muddy water. If you stop stirring it, the dirt eventually sinks to the bottom, and the water becomes clear. In the same way, silence helps us clear away the confusion and emotional turmoil, allowing us to see situations more clearly. In Buddhist practice, embracing silence means stepping back from impulsive reactions and allowing yourself a moment to process what's happening inside you. Instead of reacting instantly to a situation that makes you angry, take a moment to breathe and be silent. In that stillness, you can observe your feelings without judgment. You'll notice that your anger is not as permanent or powerful as it seems. It's just a passing emotion. The Buddha said, "Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace." This reminds us that we don't always need to respond with words, especially when we're angry. Sometimes the most peaceful and wise thing we can do is say nothing at all. In moments of silence, we give ourselves the chance to choose a more thoughtful, compassionate response, rather than reacting with anger or harsh words we may later regret. You don't have to retreat to a quiet mountain to find this silence. You can practice it in your everyday life. The next time you're in a tense situation or feeling overwhelmed, try this. Pause, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Embrace the silence for just a few moments. Let your mind rest. You'll find that when you return to the situation, you're able to respond with more calmness and understanding. Making silence a regular part of your life can have a profound impact on your emotional well-being. Try to carve out a few minutes each day for silent reflection or meditation. In these moments, you can reconnect with yourself, let go of negative emotions, and find inner peace. Another important part of silence is listening, not just to your own thoughts, but also to others. When we're silent, we can truly listen to the people around us, hearing not just their words, but the feelings behind them. This deeper listening can help us build stronger, more compassionate relationships, reducing misunderstandings that often lead to anger. By embracing the power of silence, you learn to slow down, to let go of the need to fill every moment with noise or action. You create space for patience, reflection, and healing. This simple practice can change the way you handle anger and stress, allowing you to approach life with greater clarity and peace. So, the next time you're tempted to react with frustration or harsh words, remember the power of silence. Take a moment to be still, breathe, and let the quiet guide you to a calmer, more peaceful response. In silence, you will find the wisdom to act with grace rather than anger. 5. Gratitude, the anger antidote. Gratitude is one of the most powerful and transformative emotions we can cultivate. In Buddhism, gratitude is seen as a practice that not only brings peace, but can also dissolve negative emotions like anger. While anger often arises from dissatisfaction, frustration, or a sense of injustice, gratitude shifts our focus from what's wrong to what's right in our lives. It's the antidote to anger because it redirects our attention toward what we have, rather than what we lack or what frustrates us. At its core, gratitude is about acknowledging the good things in life, no matter how small. When we are grateful, we step outside the cycle of wanting more, being disappointed, or feeling slighted. Instead of focusing on the negative, we begin to notice the blessings around us, whether it's a kind gesture from a stranger, the warmth of the sun on our skin, or even the simple fact that we're alive and breathing. Think about the last time you were angry. In that moment, everything probably seemed wrong. Your mind was likely caught in a loop of negative thoughts, resentment, blame, frustration. Now, imagine if, in that moment, you paused and asked yourself, what is something I can be grateful for right now? It might feel difficult, especially when you're in the heat of anger, but this simple shift in focus can be incredibly powerful. Gratitude has the ability to interrupt the cycle of negative emotions, replacing them with a sense of contentment and peace. Gratitude works like a balm for our minds. It soothes the tension caused by anger and frustration and reminds us of all the things we take for granted. For example, when someone angers you, whether it's a friend, family member, or even a stranger, it's easy to focus on their faults. But what if you took a moment to consider the good things about them instead? Maybe they've been kind to you in the past, or perhaps they are doing the best they can with the struggles they're facing. Shifting your focus in this way can soften your anger and help you respond with more understanding. The Buddha taught that our emotions are deeply connected to the way we perceive the world. If we perceive life as full of problems, we will always find something to be angry about. But if we begin to see life as full of blessings, our outlook changes entirely. This is where gratitude comes in. It trains the mind to focus on abundance rather than lack, on kindness rather than wrongdoing. The more we practice gratitude, the more natural it becomes to respond to life with peace rather than anger. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a practice, something we can cultivate over time. One of the most effective ways to do this is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, take a few minutes to write down at least 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be big things. In fact, the smaller and simpler, the better. It could be something as small as enjoying a cup of tea, hearing your favorite song, or a moment of quiet in a busy day. As you start to do this regularly, you'll notice a shift in your mindset. Instead of dwelling on frustrations, you'll begin to see the world through the lens of appreciation. This practice also helps in moments of anger. When you feel anger building, pause and reflect on something you can be grateful for in that moment. It might be difficult at first, but with practice, it becomes easier to let go of anger and replace it with gratitude. This doesn't mean ignoring the problem or pretending nothing is wrong. Rather, it means balancing the negative emotion with a positive one so that anger doesn't consume you. Gratitude is also a powerful tool for healing and strengthening relationships. When we're angry with someone, it's easy to focus on their mistakes or flaws. But by practicing gratitude, we can shift our perspective and remember the good in them. Think about a time when you felt deeply appreciated by someone. How did it make you feel? When we express gratitude, we not only make others feel valued, but we also open the door for forgiveness and understanding. By acknowledging the positive qualities in the people around us, we can build stronger, more compassionate relationships. Gratitude can also help in moments of conflict. Instead of letting anger guide your reactions, try taking a moment to reflect on the positive aspects of the person or situation. Ask yourself, what am I learning from this experience? How has this person contributed to my life in a positive way? This doesn't mean ignoring the problem, but it does help to reduce the intensity of your anger and approach the situation with a calmer, more open heart. The next time you feel anger rising, pause and look around you. Is there something in your environment that you can be grateful for? It could be the beauty of nature, the support of a friend, or even the fact that you have the ability to breathe and reflect. When we ground ourselves in the present and find gratitude in the here and now, it becomes much harder for anger to take root. In Buddhism, this practice of gratitude is tied to the understanding of interdependence, We are all connected, and every person, situation, and experience in our lives contributes to our growth. When we recognize this, it becomes easier to feel grateful, even for the challenges we face. The Buddha once said, "Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared." When we share our gratitude, we spread joy, reduce anger, and bring more light into the world. So take a moment today to reflect on the things you are grateful for. Let that gratitude fill your heart and push out any anger or frustration you might be holding on to. With time and practice, you'll find that gratitude truly is the antidote to anger, bringing peace and contentment to your life. 6. Let go of control. Trust the flow of life. One of the fundamental teachings of Buddhism is the concept of impermanence. Nothing in life is fixed, and everything is constantly changing. This truth can be both liberating and unsettling. Often, our anger arises from the need to control the people, events, and outcomes in our lives. We feel frustrated or upset when things don't go as we planned, or when people don't act the way we want them to. But what if we could let go of this need for control? What if we could trust the natural flow of life and accept that not everything is within our power? The need for control is deeply ingrained in all of us. We want things to go according to our expectations because it gives us a sense of security. When we try to control everything, our relationships, work, even the future, we create a mental and emotional tension. This tension can quickly turn into frustration and anger when things don't go our way. But here's the truth. Much of what happens in life is beyond our control. The weather changes, people have their own free will, and circumstances shift unexpectedly. By trying to control all these variables, we set ourselves up for disappointment, stress, and anger. Buddhism teaches us that clinging to control is not only futile, but it is also a major source of suffering. The more we try to force life to conform to our desires, the more we struggle. As the Buddha said, to enjoy good health, to bring true happiness to one's family, to bring peace to all, one must first discipline and control one's own mind. This points to the heart of the matter. True control comes not from manipulating the outside world, but from mastering our inner world. Instead of trying to control life's external circumstances, we can learn to control how we respond to them. When we accept that we cannot control everything, we allow ourselves to let go of the frustration and anger that comes from unmet expectations. This acceptance doesn't mean we become passive or give up on our goals. Instead, it means we learn to adapt, to go with the flow of life rather than fighting against it. Trusting the natural order of things helps us stay calm and centered, even when circumstances don't go as planned. Imagine you're standing in a river. The water flows smoothly around you, but instead of going with the current, you're trying to swim upstream. The harder you fight the current, the more exhausted you become. We're constantly struggling against the flow, creating tension and stress. But what if you decided to let go and allow the current to carry you? You wouldn't lose control, you'd simply be flowing with life, trusting that the river will take you where you need to go. In Buddhism, this idea of going with the flow is connected to the concept of non-attachment. Non-attachment doesn't mean we stop caring about outcomes. It means we release the tight grip we have on specific results. When we let go of attachment to how things must be, we free ourselves from the emotional pain that comes when life takes a different course. When we release our need to control everything, we open ourselves up to a deeper sense of freedom and peace. We no longer feel burdened by the pressure of making sure everything turns out exactly as we want. Instead, we trust that life has its own rhythm, and we can flow with it rather than against it. The Buddha's teachings remind us that the true path to inner peace lies not in controlling the world around us, but in mastering the way we navigate it. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means allowing life to unfold with trust, patience, and grace. So the next time you feel frustration or anger bubbling up because something isn't going the way you planned, take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you don't have to control every detail. Trust in the flow of life and let go of the need to force things. By doing so, you'll find a peace that goes beyond the moment and becomes a part of who you are. 7. The ultimate key: forgiveness. One of the most transformative lessons Buddhism offers is the power of forgiveness. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning bad behavior, but it frees you from the emotional prison of resentment. Forgiving others and yourself releases the toxic grip of anger and allows you to move forward in peace. Now I challenge you. Try just one of these practices this week. Whether it's taking a few moments of silence or practicing mindfulness, see how it changes your response to anger. Let me know in the comments which one resonates with you most, and let's continue this journey together. If this video brought you value, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more transformative content. Together, we can cultivate more peace, one mindful step at a time.